I wanted to put a sunset clause because it cannot be ongoing. It has to come to an end at some point in time. Now, if the next president should want to do this again, then it's a simple matter of amending this bill. But right now, what I'm willing to give is a sunset clause to the existing president to do this until the end of his term. That is the direction that we are headed towards. But an example, Senator Win, is NAIA. Halos lahat ng trabaho ng taga-NAIA ginagawa na ng privatized entity nung pinrivatize yan ng gobyerno. Hanggang ngayon, andun pa rin lahat ng empleyado walang ginagawa. Wala, hindi sila kinuha. Hindi naman sila kukunin ng private. Baka mas inefficient pa eh. But still, they're there. When we privatized it, there was no concomitant plan on the part of the DOTR to downsize or to get the people there and transfer them to other airports that clearly lack personnel. Lahat sila gusto nasa NAIA. Diba? But these are examples that this bill perhaps can be used to fast-track whatever actions need to be undertaken.
Ma'am Gloria is mentioning, because DBM works hand in hand or closely with the DOH for the qualifications po of nurses and doctors to be...
So to clarify, the inclusion of nurses and medical personnel, hindi lang nurse yun, ha? Kasama yung medtech, kasama yung radtech, kasama lahat yun, will now be part of the bill?
Yes, sir. Medical and allied...
But the objective is to be able to provide permanent positions.
Yes, sir.
That is the intention.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
To clarify, ma'am. Para mabawasan, ma'am, yung magrarally dito. Para wag na kayo kasama. Any other concerns, ma'am? So lahat yun, radtech, medtech, midwife, lahat yun.
Correct, Mr. Chair.
So, and I am glad that the HEA has been given already, but yet in trans. So can you please look at it also? Kasi sasabihin na first trans, 1,500. O ang second trans, 6 months after, ubos na po yun, sir. So if you can please take a look at it so that our nurses will not go abroad anymore and give them more incentives, give them more benefits, medical assistance like that po, sir. Kasi like nurses nga siya, nag-work dun sa ospital. Pag nagkasakit siya, babayaan the heartaches of the grievances of the nurses also. We need them here. We need them all here po.
Kindly take note. Yusek Wong, duly noted, ma'am. Sir.
And this is not a very mga nurses, pakilagay na lang mo sa professional level, hindi yung sa agricultural level. Yeah, they were saying na it was even in dati kasi sir sa Saudi also no under sa technical daw ang nurses, but because there's a need for more nurses, so tinaas na nila. So please look upon it because these are the grievances also coming from the Council of Elderlies ng nurses.
Ma'am, Dr. Classify as agricultural ang nurses?
Opo.
Nino?
Anong classification yun?
Classifications tayo. We are not professional.
Sinong nagka-classify niyan? Who did the classification?
Anong agency? The previous DBM of our Council of Elderlies pa po yun. So
No, it's not PSC?
Hindi, DBM.
Sorry, PRC?
No, hindi po. PRC, nurses and any professional na profession that undergo licensure exam are all considered as professional. Pero pagdating po dito, nire-reclassify sa agriculture para siguro I don't know. Oo, kaya po sir, Oo.
Ano, Yusek Wong, may ganun?
Mr. Chair, as far as the DBM is concerned, there's no such classification of nurses in the agricultural.
Of course, ma'am, kindly validate
We will
it.
let you know kasi that is why daw po sir, during that time, ang salary grade po ng nurses salary grade 11 lang. Kaya ngayon, we're fighting for salary grade 15. Thank you.
Yes
You
po,
can help
it is,
us out. Please.
it is being implemented na po ang SG-15, Mr. Chair.
For government.
for the-
Ako, SG-15 kami.
Oo.
Sa lokal, ah.
Yes, yes, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. Okay, thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you, sir. Thank you.
Representative from FNU. What's FNU? What does FNU stand for, ma'am? Same. Okay. Do you have other concerns, ma'am, in addition to what was brought up? Ma'am, go to the mic. And your name, please, ma'am, for the record.
Magandang umaga po. Ako po si Eleanor Nolasco, ang Pangulo ng Filipino Nurses United. Nabanggit po ni Dr. Gloria yung some nurses are classified as agricultural. Actually, in the labor code, nurses are classified as non-agricultural workers, for which reason they are given just the minimum wage. So for the longest time, we've been asking labor to please classify them accordingly because they are professional and PRC accredited practitioners. So that's the reason why nurses in the private sector receive minimum wage, no? At ang panawagan po nga namin, kagaya ng Philippine Nurses Association, i-standardize to 50,000 starting salary ang mga nurses kaya nasa pribado sila o pampublikong sektor. At saka yun nga po ang sinasabi namin na sa matagal na panahon, pinapanawagan na namin sa DOH na sila mismo ang magpatupad ng mga standards na kanilang isineset, specifically yung safe nurse-patient ratio. And on the part of DBM naman, napakalaki pa rin ang utang nyo sa mga nurses, no, sa pagbibigay ng HEA at iba pang mga benepisyo. So kung right sizing po, sa aming tingin, matagal ng issue yan. Ang problema, hindi ipinapatupad ng pamahalaan natin.
We will relate to Senator Villanueva your concern, ma'am, and for him to file the corresponding bill to amend the labor code. Kasi it's an old PD. The labor code is an old PD, so of then President Marcos. So we will go over it, ma'am, and we'll make the necessary amendment. Pero sa totoo lang, ma'am, kahit anong classification kung gustong bigyan ng mas mataas sa minimum wage, kayang gawin yan.
At saka
But we will correct that, nevertheless.
Opo, sir, Your Honor, sa sa LGU, hindi lahat ho ng LGU nagpapatupad ng salary grade 50.
Kami, nagpatupad kami, ma'am.
Kaya nga, may
Sumunod
migration
ka,
rin tayo from private to government hospitals and from small LGUs to big
But
government
that's the reason why we got our nurses too.
Oo. Because
Kasi
you
kung
gave...
tiga sa amin lang, kulang yung supply.
Oo nga.
But that's the reason why we got our nurses too, because we implemented it.
Oo.
So others na kulang ng nurse, kung gusto talaga nila, they can actually do it.
Yeah, if they wish to.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Marami pong salamat.
Ano po itong PIPSEA? Sir, please, get a mic. Your name, sir, and what does PIPSEA stand for? Philippine Siguro yung unang PN.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Secretary Gatchalian, Senator Gatchalian, thank you, sir. And colleagues, resource persons. Miguel Maga Jr., Your Honor, PIPSEA Secretary General, Philippine Independent Public Sector Employees Association. Our membership, sir, is based largely in local government units all over the country. Well, I just want to be candid.
LGUs.
Yes, sir. Although we also accommodate other branches of government, but we focus mainly on LGU, sir. Thank you, right. And I just want to be candid about it. I admire being candid as well and noting all those, shall I say, irregularities in the bureaucracy. But first and foremost, LGUs, on the same note that you have mentioned earlier, especially, sir, the classes of the LGUs. our members from all these LGUs, especially in the far-flung areas, 6th class, 5th class municipalities, suffers a lot because they don't get the same salaries as compared in the first class and the urban. They have the same work, but they don't have the same pay. Okay, that's first and foremost. I hope that will be included as well in for the revision of the local government.
Sir, I'll address that first.
Yes.
The problem is, yung sweldo po ng mga LGU employees and officials, ang nagbabayad, yung LGU.
Yes, sir.
At kaya 6th class, 5th class siya, ibig sabihin, mababa yung income ng LGU. Kung ipantay po namin yun sa first class, wala hong pambabayad yung LGU. So, the question is, where will the money come from to pay for the differential? I agree with you, but
Thank you.
how do we implement it? Saan manggagaling ho yung pera to equalize it?
Yes, sir, but I believe and I respect that you have all the bright minds there in the legislature to address this one. You have also the Mandanas ruling. You have already the functions of the national government is being thrown out and being to the use as well, but you don't have money.
Ruling, sir, I computed that. The total additional era given by virtue of the Mandanas ruling amounted to approximately 770 billion. But the devolution EO of former President Duterte actually devolved nearly double that amount to the LGUs.
Yes.
So totoo lang, hindi naramdaman ng LGU yung dagdag Under PBBM, no in-increase niya yung budget ng NIA, irrigation, nakasama sa devolution order ni dating Pangulong Duterte, by executive fiat, binawi na ng national government yung irrigation Pero sa totoo lang, yung tinransfer na function, mas mahal pa doon sa Mandanas
Yes.
And then, as if to make matters worse, COVID hit us, bumagsak na mga 16 to 18% yung collections at yung effect nun, yung ira na rin ng mga LGUs na nararamdaman 3 years after. So kung tumigil yung effect ng COVID ng 2023, 2022, mararamdaman yan hanggang this year pa. Kung may epekto pa rin ng 2023, mararamdaman yan hanggang next year pa.
Yes, sir.
So, again, if you can help us to think of how to fund it.
Yes,
how
sir, I
to equalize
understand.
it.
I understand the predicament. But, well, we trust your wisdom, sir, on that one. Especially, sir, the classes of municipalities, LRDU, sir. I just suppose it's already in your hands since you're aware of our sentiments insofar as...
Gap. How far is the gap?
Sir, it's huge.
Same position.
60
Department head ng first class, department head na
35% less, sir. 35% less on the 6th class versus first class. Lesser. They only get 65% if you're in the 6th class as compared to the first class.
So kung 100,000 ang department head, 65,000 ang
6th class, sir.
sa 6th class.
Yes, sir. That's correct. Sir, I really submit. Please try to look into it.
We'll look into it, sir.
Yes, sir. Please.
Quite frankly, it's a difficult...
We owe it to our members, sir, in the leads. And I just want to be brief about this, sir. My observation is that the right sizing issue, it has been ongoing since the start, maybe of President Quirino, and then every administration thereafter. We have this. It's kind of an inherent, compelled action to be made by the administration that comes in. We viewed it, or we perceived it as a mere smokescreen cover to eliminate those in the positions that they don't like or haven't been of service to them during election, and so that they can change it with their own people as a political payment, political patronage. That's how we viewed it, with all due respect. Because if really honest and to be truthful about it, this resizing must have been done with impact assessment before anything could be done and be proposed again. So how can we be sure that this proposal or made stipulations by the DBM and the other concerned agencies that really it is needed to correct corrective measures so that we can really provide good quality public services and then at the same time earn savings for the government. That's how we view it, sir. It is not really the honest and sincere rationale insofar as this bill or any other bill insofar as right is concerned from the very start from the President Quirino and then up to this time, sir. That also. Thank you so much.
To be fair, sir, yung co-terminus sa presidente, pwede niyang tanggalin anytime, and these are the heads of the agencies. I don't think the president will meddle himself with permanent employees na mas mababa. But you raised a valid point, Yuse Kwong. I saw that in the interpellations of the right-sizing bill in the last Congress. Meron ba kayong study, whether you call it impact analysis, as to why you're doing it now, why you want to do it now, and what are the targets, if any? May study ba yan? Or naisipan lang ni Sec Mina na parang okay to?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Currently, we have tapped the ADB for a sectoral study and review, sir.
But it's still ongoing.
Yes, sir. Hopefully by March or April, we'd be able to get some the results that we could furnish the copy to the committee to further back our data on which agencies or
You said
how to right size. Yes.
Magre-resume ang Kongreso ng January 13. Mag-adjourn kami ng February 2. Magre-resume uli kami ng May 20. Mag-adjourn kami 2 weeks lang yung session and mag-adjourn kami ng June 2. Kahit anong simula natin ngayon, magsisimula uli sa simulayan pag hindi natin natapos yan bago mag-June 2. Is there a way that you can, again, yun ang problema namin sa Kongreso. Minamadali nyo kami, tapos wala naman yung study nga, wala pa eh. So, paano natin gagawin?
So we have a cost-benefit analysis, Mr. Chair, that we will submit. We're updating the numbers lang po because this was based on last year's deliberations. And we will submit a cost-benefit analysis.
And also, sir, I agree with the President Quirino thing. We will include timelines as to when each agency should have a submission, and for how long the committee we will be creating will be given to act on these recommendations. Hindi naman pwede kasing may nakahalumbiting espada palagi sa leeg ng mga, di ba, iba't ibang opisyal at ahensya na anytime pwede mong pugutan ng ulo. I mean, dapat dumating yung punto, di ba, na makakahinga na sila. Ito na yon, ganito na yon, na hindi nila kailangan kabahan. So we will be including timelines in the bill.
Yes, thank you, Chair.
Senator Gatchalian.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I just want to pursue that questioning. In fact, I wrote it down in my notes. As you mentioned, this is an administration bill, and this is viewed by the administration as vital to the operations of government. So my first question, actually, I was going to ask DBM is, what is the expected savings or efficiency measure that we plan to achieve through this bill? I hope that this is not only fashionable, Mr. Chairman, no? Dahil alam niyo naman sa US, they created the Department of Government Efficiency, the DOGE, which is geared towards reducing, basically right-sizing and making government efficient. And then in Argentina, through President Milei, they also downsized government. They removed, I think, 8 different departments and merged it to into super departments. So, of course, that's the trend, and there's logic in that trend. But in our case, how much savings are we talking about? Are we looking at substantial savings because DBM has, through its review, has studied that we can actually generate savings instead of raising taxes. Dalawa kasing equation, Mr. President. You raise taxes so that you have revenues and you can use that revenues to spend, or create savings and in the same manner use that savings to spend. No? So in this particular case, how much savings are we looking at?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we had figures from our cost-benefit analysis study. If you just allow us some time to get it, it's with the staff here lang po, lumabas lang po. But we can submit to the committee if needed po. We will submit to the committee.
This is a very important question, Yusek. I think that will lay the premise for the arguments for this bill. And yes, please submit it to us, the most updated cost-benefit. In fact, initially, and I'm sure as you go along, marami pa tayong makikita dyan. And
Yes, sir.
that amount will probably increase or be adjusted as we go along.
Sir, initial data lang po muna. If 3% are right-sized from this program, around 3 billion pesos worth of savings po ang ma-generate.
Maliit lang, 3 billion out of 6.3 trillion budget.
Yeah, if
Not
it
so
depends
much.
po on the tier, on the number of the employees or the program that will be right-sized. If, for example, at 7% will be right-sized, it will be, the net savings would
15
be
billion.
approximately 8.7 billion. Yeah.
Yes, but you say, Gong, it's an incomplete figure because you have to pay separation din eh. You will not realize that on the first year that you abolish certain positions because you have to pay separation. Maglalabas ka muna ng pera bago mo kitain yan eh. So on that assumption, include also in your answer to Senator Win today or at a future time, kailan ma-realize yung 3 billion if 3% is right-sized or if 3% avail? Because you have a cash out also eh.
For the separation.
Diba? And I'd like to acknowledge the presence of Secretary Perez. Secretary Perez will play an important role because in theory, kung nagbawas ng red tape ang gobyerno, magbabawas din ng opisyal at empleyado ang gobyerno. Kasi di na kailangan gawin eh. Diba? I think that's the reason why he is part of the committee, right? That will decide. But when we did it in our local government unit, prior sa pag-ISO namin, we engaged the services of UP and CPAG para isa-isahin namin yung mga posisyon in the provincial government of Sorsogon and all the departments, including all of our 9 hospitals. Now, kailan nyo gagawin yan? Sinong gagawa niyan? Because you cannot go about this without doing that.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chair, we are currently just updating our figures po. So that come session time, we'll be prepared to give the necessary,
Senator Win, masasagot ko
to
na
give
siya.
the necessary information. Thank you.
Just, do you have examples, for example, of offices or agencies that you think are not attuned to the times or is viewed redundant?
Sir, Mr. Chair, we had a previous engagement po with some with consultants of studying different sectors without attributing any. Maybe just submit the study, sir. So not to
Because one good thing about the budget deliberation, Mr. Chairman, is it gives us a good view of the internal workings of government. Parang yung bitukan ng gobyerno nakikita namin. One of the things that always comes up during budget deliberation is the role of the optical media board. With all due respect to the OMB, kasi yung trabaho ng OMB nanguhuli ng CD, no? Pero alam naman natin, wala nang gumagamit ng CD ngayon. Di ba? Puro YouTube na ngayon. No? But that always comes up. Every budget deliberation, some senator will ask, what's the role of the OMB? But then again, I saw in the different departments, at least the smallest department will get 300 million, more or less. No? And then you have a bunch of those 300 million offices or agencies operating under government. In fact, the committee that or the department that I chair, not department, but the committee that I chair, the Committee on Education, we took a look some of the agencies as a Galban. Like for example, the National Council for Children's Television. Pag tinatanong ko yung mga bata, hindi naman na sila nanonood ng television. YouTube na rin ang pinapanood nila eh. Diba? So, we have to review the mandate of these agencies. The National Book Development Board. Of course, the book development is also important, but we all know the internet now is the source of information for the majority of our students. So my point of the matter there is, and all of these departments receive either 300 million, 400 million, and during the budget deliberation, Mr. Chairman, nakikita ko yung tendency na pinipilit kasi ng mga department gumawa ng mga projects to justify their existence. No, talagang pipilitin lang nila, gagawa sila ng kahit anong project para sabihin na kailangan nyo kami. No? Dahil itong project importante. So, will that be part of the review? And will these agencies be covered by, I saw in the functions note, the abolition, because these departments are created by law. No? So will this law or this bill that will give the power to the president to abolish, can the president abolish this type of agencies? Again, with all due respect with these agencies, subject to further studies. But my initial encounter with them during the hearings, parang obsolete na yung kanilang mga mandates dahil we're now in the digital world. So, sakop ba ng abolition power to abolish this type of departments?
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you for that question. Yes, it is part of the study that the committee will do, so that it will be able to recommend the proper or necessary steps. That includes to review the mandates of these different agencies without any attribution po na, for example po, on right sizing the agencies is yung mga parks natin, National Park, Intramuros Administration. These have similar functions that can maybe be looked into and check if they can be merged or somewhat transformed into a more responsive agency, not limiting to their current jurisdictions.
Will this law enable the president to abolish this type of offices without amending or repealing the law that created them?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then the president is also empowered to transfer the employees,
Yes,
quote unquote, right size.
part of their
bureaucracy.
part of the mandates of the CREB or the committee is to reskill and retool the employees that needs to be transferred or merged or consolidated to other agencies, Your Honor.
My understanding is the power to create and abolish is precisely being delegated by Congress to the President under this bill. That is also the reason why I wanted to put a sunset clause, because it cannot be ongoing. It has to come to an end at some point in time. Now, if the next president should want to do this again, then it's a simple matter of amending this bill. But right now, what I'm willing to give is a sunset clause to the existing president to do this until the end of his term. That is the direction that we are headed towards. But an example, Senator Rubin, is NAIA. Halos lahat ng trabaho ng taga-NAIA ginagawa na ng privatized entity, nung pinrivatize yan ng gobyerno. Hanggang ngayon, andun pa rin lahat ng empleyado walang ginagawa. Wala, hindi sila kinuha. Hindi naman sila kukunin ng private. Baka mas inefficient pa eh. But still, they're there. When we privatized it, there was no concomitant plan on the part of the DOTR to downsize or to get the people there and transfer them to other airports that clearly lack personnel. Lahat sila gusto nasa NAIA eh. Diba? But these are examples that this bill perhaps can be used to fast track whatever actions need to be undertaken. Another example, I don't know, right size ka rin ba ng mayor ka? Hindi.
Right size.
No, I'll give you an example. May ambulance driver ako. 3 tatlong ambulansya na yung natototal niya. Pero siya, buhay pa din. Nakakatatlong ambulansya na siya. He's 63, 64 years old, pero he should not be driving anymore. At yung biyahe pa, Maynila, Sorsogon, yung mga emergency medical personnel namin, yung nagmaman ng ambulansya, hindi naman pwedeng 63, 64, di ba, hanggang pag-retire. So what we did was, those were some of the positions we right-sized, included a very high package, compensation package, na casual sila para palaging malusog, malakas. Yung mga kaminero ko, yung mga tigalinis. Nung upo kong governor, dumi ng mga hospital, pinalinis ko, 1 linggo na, 2 linggo na, madumi pa rin nung tinignan ko. Tapos minsan pinanood ko, ang tatanda na pala lahat. Hindi pwedeng, di ba, hindi pwedeng permanent yung kaminero performing a job that a 20, 30-year-old should be doing. But again, you should compensate them too, na mas mataas, para makahabol sila, makabawi sila. But these are some things that government should look at, and is spread over in almost every agency. DAR would be another example. Can you imagine having a department performing reform as a permanent line agency? Para nating inaming, hindi natin matatapos yan eh. Di ba, at some point in time, di ba, agrarian reform must come to an end. Functions have to be transferred already to DA, for example, para sa support services na. Di ba, kasi tapos na yung coverage ng land reform eh. Hanggang ngayon, dahil nandun sila, bago ka makabili ng agricultural land na sumusobra sa 5 hektarya, kailangan mo pa rin ng permiso ng DAR, which technically is no longer applicable, ha? Because under existing law, tapos na yung coverage ng land reform. You can legally acquire properties more than the limits set by the agrarian reform law. Technically, ha? So, these things, I hope you hire an expert to go over this humongous task of identifying the function together with ARTA, and be able to get the best and the brightest to remain in government, as stated earlier, and to perform the functions that are needed to be performed by government. If I may proceed, ACT, Sir, Mr. Quetwa?
Yes po, Mr. Chair. Vladimir Quetwa po, National Chairperson po ng Alliance of Concerned Teachers. Ito po yung pinakamalaking union ng mga public school teachers sa Pilipinas. At in fact, sa Sorsogon po ay malakas ang Alliance of Concerned Teachers.
Exempted kayo, ha? Pero
Yes,
go.
yeah, tama po kayo doon. No? Ang teacher po ay hindi kabilang, pero kami po ay apektado. No? Malinaw po yun dahil nga po ang teacher ay may kasama pong tinatawag nating mga education support personnel sa loob po ng mga paaralan. At sa katunayan, sinasabi po noong 2018 Teacher Workload Balancing Study na 50 po, no, ancillary tasks ang naka-assign po sa mga teacher. Kung kaya ito po ang dahilan kung bakit nabuo po Independent Order 2 Series of 2004 noong January 26 na kung saan dapat tanggalin na, no, immediately removal of admin tasks from public school teachers. At ito po, mapapatunayan po ng ating kasama sa DepEd, no, nag-create po sila ng mga posisyon, pero hindi pa rin po ito sapat. Sa katunayan, ang kanilang mga resulta ay kinaklustering po nila yung mga tinatawag nating admin task. Kaya natili po sa ground po na may mga teacher, tagabilang po ng bulate, nagpipiding program, school nurse, guidance counselor, registrar, and so on, and so on, and so forth. Kaya ito rin po ang sinabi doon sa POA report na pinuhunan po ni Senator Villanueva. Sinabi niya, noong 2013 hanggang 2017, 1,500 teachers po ang umalis po sa bansa. Ano po ang dahilan? Maliban po sa napakababa ng sahod. Ito ay sa dami ng ginagawa ng teacher labas sa pag-check, pag-advisory, and so on and so forth. Kaya sa paningin ng Alliance of Concerned Teachers, ito pong right sizing ay wrong sizing. Kaya tingin po natin, ang gusto natin ay the whole of government support our policy sa paano paraan. Create more plantilla positions, mag-rate ng teachers, education support personnel, at ganoon din po sa other agency. Kung meron niya pong tatanggalin, ito, pabiro lang po sa ating mga kapatid sa military. Bakit po naglagay ng military personnel sa Department of Education? Ilan mo po, maraming salamat.
Sir, Secretary Perez, hindi ba pinapakialaman ng ARTA yung matagal ng problema ng teacher yan eh? ang dami nilang sinasubmit na report, lahat sulat kamay. Wala naman kasing computer na binibigay sa kanila at hindi pa sila digital. At sa totoo lang, malamang sa malamang walang tiga-deped na nagbabasa nun So dami ba naman nun? Kaya ba nilang basahin yun? Submit lang ng submit. Submit sa superintendent, submit ng superintendent sa division, submit sa Maynila. Actually, I even doubt if someone is looking at that. Given the quality of education the Philippines has, I'm sure hindi nila ginagawa yung trabaho nila doon. Have you looked into that, sir? Has